Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's start with the first story. It's called Expensive Sweeping. I got called in for Memorial Day cleanup at work. No problem. It was holiday pay, which meant I was pulling $82.50 an hour. I'm not saying no to that. My assignment was to sweep a dusty area. Just a few inches of dust, nothing wild. But here's the thing, dust is basically a core product of our operation. As soon as I'd finished sweeping, more would settle, like clockwork. Enter our brilliant new foreman. The guy's trying way too hard to flex, barking orders left and right. He sees me wrapping up and heading to my next task, and shouts, "Do not leave that area until there's no dust left." Alright, you want no dust? You got it. I went back and swept, and swept, and swept some more. I was sweeping the same 10 square feet for hours, while the air continued doing what it does, putting more dust right back. At the end of the shift, the next foreman comes in, sees me still pushing my broom like some cursed Roomba, and asked, "What the heck are you doing?" I explained the situation. He burst out laughing and said, "Well, if you want a double, just keep sweeping. Don't mind if I do." So I kept on sweeping. 16 full hours of pushing a broom at $82.50 an hour. Next I hear, the first foreman got written up. Apparently the higher-ups weren't thrilled that his power trip cost the company over $1,300 for me to dust a single area that never stayed clean. All I did was follow orders, to the letter. The next story is called Marketing Approval. Back in the mid-80s, I worked at a company that built manufacturing equipment running on a custom internal network. I had to learn the system inside out to support it, except the documentation was totally outdated. They had recently rewritten the interface from scratch, but the manuals were still referencing the old version. Since I had a knack for writing clear docs, I volunteered to rewrite the entire thing as I learned the system. And that's where things got interesting. See, there was a rule floating around from a couple years earlier. Any document a customer might ever see, even deep technical ones, had to be reviewed and approved by marketing. Because branding, I guess. Engineers didn't love this rule, so one of my coworkers decided to test how closely marketing was actually reading things. He added an appendix to the manual, supposedly describing the system's networking protocol. Marketing approved it, without changing a word. What did this technical appendix describe? A protocol called the TP protocol, not a traditional 7-layer model. No, this protocol was 2-ply or 3-ply, depending on the implementation. Each layer was called a ply. Yes, like toilet paper. Messages were all the same size. And the end of message marker was known as a perf. There was even a known bug. A cancel character could freeze the system until it was manually cleared. This condition, sitting on the can. It went on for pages. Deadpan. Totally absurd. Marketing rubber-stamped the whole thing. When I was writing the next-gen manual, I stumbled across it and nearly cried laughing. I double-checked with my manager, got the green light, and included it, unchanged, in the official documentation. And yes, it passed marketing review again. The third story is called Work Your Rage. I've been at my current company, around 200 employees, for about 9 years now. Great department, fantastic manager, solid heads of department. I generally like working here, except for this one HR incident during 2020 that still makes my manager and me chuckle to this day. I'm not a manager, but I hold a specific government certification, one that requires expensive training, usually reserved for managerial roles. I got it at a previous job that sadly went under. At this company though, that certification made me the only person eligible to handle a critical part of our government project. My manager saw an opportunity. I was already doing manager level work, so why not make it official? He went to HR, with the full blessing of our head of department, to push for a promotion. HR, predictably, said no. No available position. Not the right time. He needs to prove himself more. Blah blah blah. So my manager pushes for at least a raise. HR replies, he's already at the pay cap for his position. He should be working his wage anyway. My manager, now calmly upset, immediately pulls me off the project. He informs the project lead, who goes to HR and says, we need someone else to submit the government documents. Either train some, at thousands of dollars, or hire externally. HR balks at the cost and chooses to hire someone instead, offering intern tier pay. Month 1, no hires. No one applies. We miss submission deadlines. 5k government fine. Month 2, still nothing. No qualified person wants that kind of money. 25k fine. Month 3, HR finally raises the offer, but still nowhere near competitive. 50k fine. Now the C-suite is involved. The CEO asks the project lead what the heck is going on. Lead points at HR. HR tries to throw me under the bus. Big mistake. My manager and the head of the department show the CEO HR's now infamous line. He should be working his wage anyway. CEO pulls me into a meeting with my manager and the head of department. Apologizes personally and asks me to return to the project. He guarantees me a promotion, with back pay from the day the project started. Even puts it in writing with his official signature. I accept. One HR staffer got fired. Another was demoted. CEO implemented a new career progression path for skilled employees who don't want to be managers. I've since earned 2 promotions along that path. I'm now earning just under manager pay, and I love what I do. The last story is called GM Rules. A few years back I picked up a second part-time gig at a well-known burger joint. Just wanted some extra cash. Nothing fancy. Enter Tammy, the newly minted GM, who apparently thought she was running a Michelin star restaurant rather than a fast food drive-thru. Tammy didn't manage. She screamed constantly. She treated her title like royalty and expected everyone to cater to her like peasants in a kingdom of deep fryers and lukewarm hash browns. On my first week, I watched co-workers scramble to preserve a lone sausage patty after breakfast ended. Tammy's coming, they whispered. She rolled in around 11 AM. Iced tea and sausage sandwich magically delivered to her office like some greasy tribute. Of course, the sausage wasn't fresh enough and someone had to remake it. Because Her Highness only eats the finest reheated meat discs. She'd storm around the store screaming at people for anything and everything. I mostly worked mornings and was already plotting my escape. Then came Kevin. Kevin was from the new company that bought our location. Chill guy. Brought in changes to improve workflow. Seemed promising. The only problem was that Tammy didn't like change, especially when it came from people above her pay grade. We tried to implement Kevin's instructions, and Tammy would lose her mind. I don't care what Kevin said. This is my store, and we do it my way. HR nightmare in the making. And apparently delusional about who actually owned the store. One day, Kevin came in early, before Tammy. I was doing things Tammy's way, as ordered. Kevin asked why. I replied, verbatim, I'm doing it how you showed us. But Tammy told us not to worry about what you say. She said this is her store, and we should only listen to her. Kevin went silent, gave me a look, said nothing, just turned and walked off. Then Tammy shows up, and they disappear into her office. I'm not saying I heard shouting, but I wouldn't have been surprised if the fryer oil boiled from the heat. Kevin left soon after. Tammy exploded out of her office and, you guessed it, screamed at us about drive-thru times. Not even related to anything. I clocked out and never came back. Life's too short for sausage tyrants. A month later, I stopped at a different fast food joint nearby. There she was, working the drive-thru. Tammy. She sees me, freezes mid-hand off, visibly ashamed. From the kitchen I hear someone bark at her. Tammy, what are you doing? We have times to worry about. She meekly whispers, I know, and hands me my bag. The next day I stopped by my old store. Curious. Asked what happened. Turns out Kevin fired Tammy just days after I quit. Said he didn't like her attitude, and she flat out refused to follow new procedures. Everyone was ecstatic. The energy in the place was 100% lighter. Now whenever I need a little pick-me-up, I swing by Tammy's new place, just to watch her ego deflate. Every time someone speaks to her the way she used to speak to us. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.